So officially welcome again to day one of this 3-day masterclass. My name is Jennifer Kalsa-Schimmel. For those who are new to me, welcome. For those who are joining live and any platform, please say hi. If you're joining on replay, let me know. This will be up for you guys. I am really happy to be joining you guys today and really diving into this special 3 days together where we can really work with your foundations. So we have some fun stuff planned for today. Those who are on the Arise Facebook group, I apologize that the sound quality isn't so great. You don't have my official speaker going. So if you want to come back to when we are in deep meditation, if the sound quality is bothering you, feel free to do that. Or you can just come back and do this multiple times. It only will be continued fun for everybody involved. So let me know where you guys are joining from today as well, because this is important, especially to today where we are exploring your root. Over these next 3 days, we are going to be really diving into your root, your sacral, and your navel, and really what is held more than just what you think with this space of your body. Let me turn on actually my humidifier. Not my humidifier, my sense here, because that's actually very important to our roots and things like that, right? Because your root is connected to so much more than just, right? Actually, I don't know if you guys can see it behind me. Woo! See it behind me. Oh, Facebook, you can't. Hold on. Facebook. Okay, there we go. So for Facebook. I want you guys, you can't see it clearly, but I'll post a picture actually of this in the Facebook group and for those who are registered for the program. So if you haven't registered, even if it's after we've started, after day one, halfway through, you can register to get the email replays, which I'll include things like this picture. So this picture is the chakra system, but it's for kids. So it has the puppies. It has the puppies. And the puppy at the bottom is a little puppy sitting. It's so cute. You guys will, I'll post this and I know you're going to love it. It's one of my favorites. And it's supposed to be for kids because I taught kids yoga for years. And it never, it was waiting for a frame. And by the time I had it, it just went into my office. But the puppy at the bottom, which is really helpful to think about where we're starting today, is this puppy dog in this little house. Safety and security. Safety and security. Okay. So we're starting here at our root today, at your soul today. And over the next few days, as we join together, we're going to move into your sacral, your creativity, your emotions. See, they're much more than maybe you would think, into your mind. Part of your mind is located and connected to your sacral, right? Into your expression, into your connection to manifesting force. And then on the third day, into your navel, into your will, into your positive mind, into your driving Mars force into the world, right? And then also what parts of yourself, because there are ages. There are ages of you that are connected to each of these areas. And if this foundation is shaky, if we are holding unresolved wounds here, this will start manifesting and getting in the way and fugging up this expansion that you were designed to be. Because what happens is we come in with a set of things to do and a set of things to heal, but we also have a soul blueprint, right, that layers over all of this, that's waiting for you, that is waiting for you to step into your truest form and expansion. I had so much clarity over the last few weeks as Source and the universe and my guides were interestingly preparing me for this. And one of the big things was also coming into clarity that what I do is I help and I support and empower women, especially, to remember and root that you are so much more than you have been told, that your soul expansion is so much more powerful than you have been fed, right? You are literally the embodiment of the creative force of the universe. In one of my trainings, when I was training to be a Kundalini yoga instructor, which I am technically, I'm a certified yoga instructor and mantra specialist, one of my many skills that I bring to all this work. And you guys will experience today too. I'm going to bring in a breath meditation. Remind myself, make sure that's in my notes, is that we actually are 10 times more energetically expansive than men. This is not to say women are better than men. Let's make sure we got that. This is to explain that we are different and created differently, right? Men are designed as that divine masculine, which is this straight linear, right? And women are designed in the divine feminine. And you have both in you. Men have this as well as women, right? And when men connect to their divine feminine, when the women channel their divine masculine in perfect integrated harmony, it's this beautiful thing. But so that's one of the reasons why we have to make sure that we're in alignment, because you are a manifester. You are a manifester. Whether you physically in this life have been called or designed to give physical birth, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, because you are designed to birth the life, your path, right? So that's the overlay. That is what we're working with and to over these next 3 days. We're giving a small experience of this. This is actually a small taste of the really deep work I do in my 3-month program, Rooted to Rise, is this deep, really getting clean. So today we start at the beginning. We start at our root. So before we even get into me talking about the root and all of that, I want to clear our space, clear our energy, and get to zero. Okay. And there we go. Everything is Facebook. I don't know, you guys can necessarily see, but everything's diagonal on me here. And if you guys have questions as we go through, especially as we talk, or things that come up for you, please share, please comment, please, this is interactive. I can see the comments for those who are joining live on Facebook. If you're joining in the replay, I will see, especially make sure just to tag me if you want. If you're joining on YouTube, please, comment there. I will come back and help and answer these questions. So let's clear our space. Let's set our container. Let's ground our energy, and then we're going to get started, okay? So breathe in with me, okay? Actually, I think we're going to start with our breath meditation today to really help center and ground. So the way this is going to work is we're going to balance and center this energy. We are constantly running yin and yang, active and receiving and passive, right? Energy constantly. And it alternates in our body every few minutes. So hundreds and hundreds of times a day, your body is switching. So cheat code, I'm starting to do those. Cheat code for you guys, if you don't know, if you are having trouble falling asleep or having trouble being alert during the day, it's probably because if you're having trouble falling asleep, your active side, which is your right side of your nasal passage and goes down your body, is the part is more charged right now. And if during the day you're like, oh, I'm so tired, be it sometimes that has to do with adrenal fatigue and things like that. And that's a whole nother thing we'll kind of mention that I really go into with women, because we actually, most of us are in adrenal fatigue or adrenal stress because of just life and caffeine in our modern world. But that's a whole nother ball game. But one way you can support that, it's probably because your passive side is active, right? And so a simple way, if you just want one or the other, is you can block off if you're trying to wake up. So this is my right side, even though it's mirrored here, right? And if I'm really tired, I want to just take a few deep breaths just through this side. Okay. If I'm trying to fall asleep, I just want to come breathe through my left for a few minutes and then breathe through the center. Now, what I like doing though, that's a simple way to do it. But what I really like doing is I like to actually just come into balance. So when I'm if I'm like really on a high or I'm just really low energy, I try to just come into more of a centered place. And we're going to do that now. This is called alternate nostril breathing. It's one of the simplest, easiest things you can do. I have literally done this meditation with my 1-year-old, or technically he's now 2, laying on me and nursing, and my 4-year-old next to me trying to go to bed. Like I literally can do this with like toddlers on top of me. So if I can do it, and I've done it driving, if I can do it, you guys can do it whenever you need. Okay. So what we're going to do, and like I said, I apologize, Facebook, you guys aren't going to have the pretty music necessarily as clear as those on Zoom or YouTube because it's streaming. But you guys can always come back to this too again later if you want the beautiful singing bowls that are singing bowls that I created as well. They're not my newest creations, but one of my favorites. Okay, so what we're going to do is you can take Hawaiian shaka if you want. Shuck with the snake. Shuck with the snake. Okay. Or you can just kind of take your thumb and your forefinger. And what we're going to do is we're going to block off one side. Doesn't matter where you start. You're going to inhale. And then I want you to block off the other side. I'm going to walk you guys through this as we're doing it. Exhale. Inhale from this other side. And then block off again. So you're inhaling, blocking off, and then exhaling and inhaling again. Do you see how that starts balancing it? So we're going to do this for just a few minutes. 3 minutes max. You can do it for as much longer as you want, but today 3 minutes. And while we're doing that, I'm going to be running the Sacred Light Purification, Sacred Light Ofa and Contract Healing. I'm going to run the full Sacred Light clearings to really not only as we ground, but clear our energy. Okay. So as you're coming into the centering, we are going to be clearing and cleansing. Okay. So of course, as always, you are a sovereign being. Through today, we are not, since there are people who may not have ever worked with me before, and if not, welcome. Thank you. I'm crooked. I'm crooked today. Welcome. And what I do is I do a mixture of shadow work, inner child empowerment. For those who've been with me for a while, welcome to the new naming of what I do. Inner child empowerment, shadow work, expansive manifestation, and integrative healing with quantum energy healing. And so with that energy healing aspect, I will be connecting into your energy with your permission to your Akash, to your galactic records, to your highest, your team and your guides to transmit. This is transmission healing, energetic healing. It's not connected to time or space. So if you're watching later, you'll still get this later. If you're watching now, you'll be getting this now, right? But you have to give permission because I am not here to force anything on you. So if at any point you've decided, nope, this isn't for me, just step back. But, know that if you've given permission, you are now open to receiving these calibrations, alignments, and this energy today. Okay. So I like making sure you guys know that part. So now that spiel of what we're doing is done and out of the way, let's start. We're going to ask permissions real quick of just the land. Then we're going to do our breath work, and I'm going to clear the space, and then we're going to chat about for a little bit, and then we're going to do our full our healing that's in the rest of today supporting this and our guided meditations. So Let's just bring our awareness to the land before we even begin. Right? This is the land that you sit upon, that you are in sacred relationship with, the spirit of this land. We ask permissions and blessings of this land and the original benevolent wisdom keepers and stewards of this land. We ask your permissions and blessings upon our work and our community and healing together today. Taking a deep breath, just bringing your awareness to this land. Not the earth as a big globe, but the land literally you are with today. Every area has its own energy, its own spirit per se, right? Its own animals and plants that make up this beautiful connection that you come into relationship with. And you'll often notice that if you travel, if you move, the land will have different energies depending on where you were, up to even just 15 minutes from your house. It might have a completely different energy. So becoming aware that you are in a relationship with this land is a powerful, powerful thing. I'm just connecting in with that. Okay, so I'll do the full grid activation when we go into our healing. But let's also just ask permissions of and blessings of the guides, all our spiritual team, and our healed ancestors. We'll activate them and really get in when we do our grid later. But I just want you to just set that intention that you're asking permissions and support of your team. Just asking that before we start. Thank you. Okay. So let's begin just clearing and cleansing our energy so we can really come into this work centered and grounded, okay? So I want you to take your hand, either your little L shape or your chakra, whichever feels good to you. I used to do it this way, but sometimes this is a lot easier. Or you could just do it this way. That works too, okay? So finding whatever is comfortable for you. I want you to begin picking on one side. I start with my right just because I'm right-handed. You're going to inhale. Block off the other side. Exhale slowly. I'm going to get our music going here. Inhale through the other side. Block off. Exhale through the nose. You're not breathing through your mouth. So if you're using the left, inhale through the left. Exhale, block off. Exhale through the right. Inhale. Block off. Exhale. Just allow yourself to close. Continue here. Breathing in through the left, right side closed. Block off. Exhale. Begin running energy now. Inhale through the side. Exhale, closing. Continue this pattern. Divine love and light, calling in the sacred light purification, sacred light relationship healing, sacred light oath vow and contract healing, sacred light entity, implant and portal clearing, sacred light belief healing, resolving and dissolving any resistance, any energies, patterns, entities, beliefs, implants that are blocking us from receiving the medicine we need today. Any energies, cleaning up our energies, cleaning up any resistance to any of those people listening now or later to each other, clearing up any resistance, past life, or anything between you and I, between you and these technologies now. Continue breathing as I run this. Divine love and light, creator, change it. Breathing here. Allowing your energy to come into center and balance. Allowing your breath to slow as you do this. And now when you're ready, taking a deep breath in, releasing your hands, breathing through both nostrils now. And exhale back out through the nose. Good. And if your eyes were closed, you can open your eyes back up now. So this is a tool for you guys that really can help as we are moving through these centers, depending on your root, because you may have actually a defined or an undefined root, which just means a root in human design. A root is a motor. It's one of your motor centers, right? So for some people, depending on their energies and such, you may just have a lot of energy that needs a place to go. So a great example is part of my Rising Soul Matrix is that I am a manifesting generator. These are parts that come from human design, and I have a defined root. And what that means is I laugh and I joke and I say that manifesting generators often can be ADHD because they are the universe's shortcut makers, right? So they are designed with a lot of energy, and then a defined root is this constant pressure to always do, right? And then you pair that with my Leo moon, and I just have this drive that if I don't have somewhere to go, I don't have something to balance and ground out my energy, the fire can start raging out of control. So these are one of those tools that helps ground that, right? Now, other people have different things, right? And you may be the other side. Like a great example, my oldest is part of his chart is that he is an Aries, but he's also a projector. It's called a projector, and he has a Pisces moon. So projectors don't have constant energy, and he's open. He's very, very open, not just like awareness open, but his energy centers. He doesn't have a continuous flow of energy. So that 4-year-old thinks he does, but he doesn't. So he has these wells and drops and wells and drops and wells. And so for him, that grounding really centers, can help balance him because he's just riding these waves, right? Whereas for me, it's constant push, right? Can you see how that is one of those ways that root, you need that energy, that centering to bring you back into balance and to restore your own energy. Okay. So that's one of your tools. These are things that when I do Rising Soul Matrix for clients or for like the women joining me in Rooted to Rise, this is a full multi-chart thing. that I bring out, because this is your unique path and you need to know we're not all made the same. That's what's beautiful about us, right? You are the divine expression of source in the personality of you. So I'm the divine expression of God, source, the universe, shown through the personality of Jen, right? And this is something you should remind yourself every day. So cookie cutter isn't going to probably work for you. It shouldn't, because you're not a cookie. I mean, you're probably sweet like a cookie, but you're not a cookie, right? You're unique. You have your own skills and your own aspects that you should be aware of, right? Okay, so let's talk about part of what builds that unique aspect of you. Let's start down here. So let's start at your root. Now, your root, this is where, of course, it's represented by the color red, right? It has to connect. It has to do with often your lower back. It's connected to your digestive system, but more specifically like your elimination system, so your intestines, all of that. But things that people aren't necessarily aware of is that this is where your soul resides in the scheme of things. When your body is connected, this is that connection to your soul point, which makes sense, right? You come in to this life. You may not have a developed creativity expression, develop willpower, develop communication or connection maybe to source, right? But you are in your essence, your soul. So that is in your root, right? That's a connection to the root, which also means that in your root, you are holding your south node, or so your karmic patterns from where you've come from. You're holding your soul wounds here. So you come in with all this stuff, and they're already there in your root. You also come in with your soul's blueprints there. So you come in knowing where you need to go, and you come in with the things you need to heal and turn into your superpowers, right? The other thing is, if you're unaware, your root carries and is influencing the first 7 years of your life. So this is where childhood trauma forming, when I do rising soul matrices, I bring in Enneagram work and your how your childhood is shaping how you received and viewed how to get love. Because in those first few years is where you're shaping your identity, your emotions, your expression, how you view the world, right? So your inner child, the first part of your inner child, your youngest part, lives in your root. Now, let's connect that. How does that matter to expansion? Let's look at your manifesting, right? We just came out of the first part of new moon. We are moving into the crescent moon, which is the first few, right? So each moon phase is about 3.5. If you didn't know, the moon can be divided into 8 phases, flowing in active and passive mixes together, peaking at the full active of the full moon and the full passive of the dark balsamic moon, FYI. So we are currently in what's called the crescent moon. It's the more passive of the new moon 7-day kind of expression. If you're looking at things from a bigger, like 4 instead, right? So you've set your intentions, right? You're like, these are my dreams. I've decided these are my dreams. Now, you got your dreams, but you haven't necessarily explored how your inner child reacts to those dreams, how your unconscious mind reacts to those dreams. Okay? Follow me here. If your inner child has issue with your manifestation intentions, it will run or sabotage you the entire way. So, if you're finding that intentions, like this concept of self-sabotage normally comes from our inner child and unconscious patternings that we're doing, behaviors, right? Because the inner child will also take on your ancestral, because your ancestral patterns and wounds are held here because it's your DNA. It's where you exist, where you came from, right? Is down here. So how this helps with your manifestation is not just thinking, I gotta get my root in line, right? That we normally say, I gotta unblock my root. What does that even mean? We like to think, oh, it's just all stuck up and there's stuff there. But unstucking isn't going to stop it necessarily from getting stuck again if you haven't brought awareness to why and what all lives there. So think back to your first 7 years of your life. This shaped your root. Think about your ancestral patterns, possible past life patterns. They are held in your root. This is where your fight or flight instinct happens from your root, right? Now we'll talk about over the next 2 days, sacral and solar plexus and which ages they fall into. We got preteen and teens in there. But today I want to really connect us into this point. So now I want you also, before we connect into your web grid here, I want you to visualize, if you're new to the chakra and expanded chakra system and the web grid system that I work with, right, that I teach and I do in all my programs and I tune people to, is you have your root chakra, your energy center, which is traditionally thought of in the East, right? They work with that, with the chi, with the energy. It's a energy system that numerous cultures acknowledge, right? But you want to think that, I'm going to see if I can stand low back, in the back, and it's like down here. So think like right at your kind of like tailbone-ish area is where your root, right? And where that soul and all your soul wound stuff, that's your energy center. That's where you are holding your birth to year 7 of your experiences. That's where you're holding your DNA of your ancestry energetically. It's all there, okay? Now, below your feet, a few feet down, is what we call your Earth Star chakra. This all kind of connects because they feed into each other. And this is your grounding point into the earth and connects you into the energy grid system of the earth here, right? And then I often think below that, this is my added on point, is your ancestral connection point. So yes, you have DNA in your ancestry, but that's the actual point where your ancestors connect straight into you. Some people, I sometimes think it's below the Earth Star, and sometimes it, kind of runs through your root and it kind of creates this like line point there, right? So when I activate, and when we activate our grid, when you're going to do that today with me, you're going to visualize these 3 points being cleared and cleansed, right? Okay. So for our second half of this call, we're going to go in, we're going to connect, activate our energy. I'm going to run some energy for us. I'm going to go through a guided meditation with you guys to connect you into these first. We're going to really focus more on the first 4 years because 1 through 7, that's like 7 years. That's a lot of time, right? But we're going to really deeply root our energy. I'm going to bring in allies such as vetiver, black tourmaline, which is going to really help to clear and ground us, really connect in. If you do have a surplus of energy going on right now, I'm going to bring in my Lemurian deep rooting activation. This is one I teach in my Lemuria course. I use it in all of my trainings. And I use it it actually came into being. It was downloaded when I couldn't get my projector open 3-year-old ever to settle. And I was like, how can I help ground this energy? So what that activation is going to do is it's going to really call in the full grounding energy of the ancient spirits of trees. So think of this as the biggest grandfather oak you have ever seen, with its roots extending so deep down. And it is helping you to extend your roots down. It's really great to really deeply root you down before you do a lot of work in your root chakra. A lot of rooting today. Okay, then I'm going to guide you into a meditation. We're going to do a sacred soul alignment called inner child merging. Okay. I just want to make a note there. And then I'm going to have us connect in with our childhood self, 0 to 4 specifically. Okay. And I'm going to let you guys have some time there. And while we're there, I'm also going to run to support an energetic allergy healing. Right. So this is something that, if you've never experienced energetic allergy healing, this is one of the main tools I use to support those in like my large containers, especially like my Rooted to Rise, because it can be so massive. I do this a little bit in my Lemuria course. You guys may have, if you've been with me, you may have experienced energetic allergy healing with me. It's one of those tools that really resolves and dissolves resistance, often appearing as inflammation or traumatic response. So if you feel you have a block at your third eye, you most likely have an allergy, a resistance from past life trauma, from ancestral trauma, from patternings in your life that has created a resistance, right? And therefore an inflammation that is preventing you from, with ease and harmony, connecting in. Does that make sense? You can actually, in the Rooted to Rise program, in the healing portion, we have a 12-week healing, full energetic body systems healing program that's connected. I even do things where you can be allergic to physical money, to your bank card, to your nose, to not just like pollen. You can be allergic to your family. You can have dueling beliefs that are going on with these things, right? It's this massive thing that people aren't aware that is going on. So this tool we're going to bring in a little bit today, and I'm going to run energetic allergy healing for your root, for your earth star chakra. So any resistance, any trauma that you may be holding, to help that come into more harmonious balance, to your ancestral DNA, to your mother and your father and your childhood. So I'm going to go through you at age 1, you at age 2, right? We're going to go through that, helping to resolve and bring those back into a more harmonious balance, right? Okay. So does anybody have any questions or anything? For those joining me live, if you're joining on replay, please let me know. If you have any questions in the comments, if anybody's joining live, let me know if you have questions so far before we jump into the healing. Just want to make sure. Not seeing anything yet. So I'm going to get us set up for our guided visualization. Okay. Okay, the Idaho. Let us begin. Let me make sure this is shared. Okay. So again, I apologize for those of you who are on the Facebook Live if the audio is not very loud for you. Is that better? Turn the volume for you. Okay. Okay, come into your heart. Begin to breathe slowly from your heart center, allowing your breath